Now let's look at what's happening in Ukraine. A dam has collapsed. The Nova Kakhovka Dam in southern Ukraine fell earlier today. Millions of cubic meters of water are gushing from the reservoir behind it. About 22,000 people are at risk. 80 settlements are in the danger zone. A mass evacuation drive is currently underway. But why did the dam collapse? Ukraine has blamed Russia. It says Russian forces are trying to hamper Ukraine's counteroffensive. It has even accused Moscow of committing ecocide. Ukraine's allies are going even further. The UK and the EU say Russia has committed a war crime. Russia has given conflicting explanations so far. Initially, a Russian-appointed local governor said nothing had happened to the dam. Then, the governor said Ukraine shelled the structure overnight. Another Russian official says the dam collapsed naturally. While both sides are trading blame, only one thing is certain. The people living in the area are facing a catastrophe. Here's our report. 18 million cubic meters of water. That's the amount of water that was held behind this dam. The Nova Kakhovka Dam on Dnipro River. Earlier today, the dam collapsed. It happened in the early hours of the day. Now there's nothing holding back the water. It has started flowing out. This drone footage shows the force of the water that's being released. Terrifying quantities pouring out every moment. The Nova Kakhovka Dam was the only thing holding it back. It's a Soviet-era dam built in 1956. It was set up to generate electricity. That hydroelectric plant has now been washed away. The reservoir behind the dam provides water to thousands. It's especially important for the people living in Crimea. Now all that water has been broken free, submerging everything in its path. It's not good news for anyone. The river banks are currently occupied by the opposing forces. Ukraine on the western bank, Russia on the east. Both sides will face the wrath. Ukraine has already started evacuations.
Dear residents of Kherson region, Russian army has conducted another terror act. It has exploded Kakhovka Dam. In 5 hours, water level will reach critical level. Evacuation of people to safe areas has started. All services are working. Emergency service, police, military are all together. I urge to take documents and essentials and wait for evacuation buses. Also, I'm addressing the residents of the left bank. Please do everything possible to save your lives and leave the insecure place at once.
So has Russia. It had earlier denied that there was a problem. The Russian-installed governor of Kherson had said the situation wasn't critical, that evacuations weren't needed. But now there's been a U-turn. Russian officials have also sounded the alarm.
The situation in Nova Kakhovka as of 9:15 a.m., water continues to rise. In order to save all lives, the evacuation of the civilians from the border regions affected by the flood is taking place. An operational headquarters has been established. Members of the headquarters, Ministry of Emergency Situations, governor, representatives of the government, they're all at the place and working. There is no panic in the city. At the moment, the water level has risen to 10 meters. Washing away of the dam continues. The maximum rise of the water level could be 12 meters.
At immediate risk are islands on the Dnipro River. Then there are the towns and cities along the river's banks. This includes major cities like Kherson, the capital of the Kherson region, the city Ukraine took back from Russian forces last year. It is already facing the effects of the dam collapse.
Today is the 6th of June 2023. I'm in Kherson. It is 10:30 a.m. After a blast at Kakhovka Dam, water flow in the Dnipro River and its tributaries is very powerful. The water level rose for 1 meter. We'll see what will happen next, but we hope for the better.
So far, no one has taken responsibility for the disaster. Not surprising, Russia and Ukraine are blaming each other. Ukrainian officials put out various tweets blaming Russia for the collapse. Zelensky blamed it on Russian terrorists. One of his advisors said Moscow wanted to create insurmountable obstacles for Kyiv's forces. Another termed the act as ecocide, sharing videos claiming to show the extent of the disaster. Russia, in turn, has blamed Ukraine. It has called the dam collapse the work of Ukrainian terrorists. Whoever is behind it, there are going to be dire consequences for the people living nearby. Towns and villages will be inundated. Thousands of homes will be destroyed. Between 16 to 22,000 people will be displaced. We mentioned earlier how the dam supplied water to Crimea. The peninsula may face water shortages now. Then the loss of the hydroelectric plant will strain energy supplies in the region. The reservoir also supplied water to cool the Zaphorizhia power plant, Europe's largest nuclear plant. It has been under Russian control since the war began. It was already in danger due to attacks. Now it could also face cooling trouble, bringing the region one step closer to a nuclear disaster. But what is already a disaster is the Nova Kakhovka Dam collapse. It can reportedly never be repaired. And while Russia and Ukraine indulge in blame game, the brunt of this will be felt by the people in the region for years to come.